First of all, Andrew Weissman is an absolute moron. He is a moron, and he is a fool, and he's a degenerate. Andrew Weissman has devoted his career to putting innocent Americans in jail, taking away their civil liberties. He was involved in the Mueller coup against a democratically elected President Donald J. Trump. Weissman should never be on TV anywhere. He should hang his head in eternal shame for what he's done to this country. And now he's up there shilling for people who rape and murder Americans.
If you don't know by now who White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller is, you're, I think, going to really, really enjoy this video. I've done a couple of videos on him. I am literally calling him the kind of MVP right now of, I can't even say conservative Republican Party, because I've said this many, many times. You've heard me say this in previous videos. I think Trump has revolutionized the political landscape and created his own party, which is similar to conservatism and Republicans. But I'm calling it the Common Sense Party. The mission of our channel is to make common sense go viral. And Stephen Miller, who is a Gen Xer like me, is just so on fire lately. He absolutely smokes fake news CNN pundit Kasie Hunt, whatever her name is, in a viral video that we're going to watch together. But you just saw a clip right there. By the way, J.D. Vance even posted on X this, saying it was an incredible interview, a great interview. It's absolutely going viral. This guy right here, Stephen Miller, I'm telling you right now, I think this guy could be a huge, huge political force in maybe 8 to 10 years if he keeps and stays the course of absolutely obliterating all of the cancerous woke ideologies that have infected our society. So let's watch this interview. It's just breaking the internet, completely breaking the internet. And I'm going to tell you right now, I haven't even watched the entire interview. The clip that I played for you was a clip prior to the interview I'm going to play with you right now. I know it sounds confusing, but I've done a bunch of videos on Stephen Miller, so I know. But you're going to get my real-time reaction. I want to get your real-time reaction. And without further ado, check this out.
So you called the judge's order just earlier today, quote, patently unlawful, end quote, and said that it was an assault on democracy itself. Does that mean that the administration is ignoring this order, and might you ignore future court orders that meet the criteria you laid out?
The President of the United States and his administration reserve all rights under the Constitution to conduct national security operations in defense of the United States. The Alien Enemies Act, which was passed into law by the founding generation of this country, men like John Adams, was written explicitly to give the President the authority to repel an alien invasion of the United States. That is not something that a district court judge has any authority whatsoever to interfere with, to enjoin, to restrict, or to restrain any way. You can read the law yourself. There's not one clause in that law that makes it subject to judicial review, let alone district court review.
So, Stephen, when you say that this person has no authority at all, this is how our system works. It starts with these judges and then continues up. At what point does it become, in your view, legal for the justice system to be looking at this and making a judgment? And I fail to see how there's any other way but to start with where we're starting here before you get to eventually the Supreme Court.
Well, so first of all, there's a term in law, justiciable. This is not justiciable. In other words, this is not subject to judicial remedy. When the President is exercising his Article 2 powers to defend the country against an invasion or to repel a foreign terrorist that is unlawfully in the country, he's exercising his core Article 2 powers as Commander-in-Chief.
Is Venezuela invading the U.S.?
This is a very important point. This is a Title 50 authority. It's a Commander-in-Chief authority. So just to ask you a simple question, you talk about how the system works. Does a district court judge have the right to direct or enjoin troop movements overseas? Yes or no?
Well, Stephen, my question. If you could answer my question first.
In other words,
is Venezuela invading our country in a way that would apply this way?
So I'll answer yours and you'll answer mine. Under the terms of the statute, Tren de Aragua is an alien enemy force that has come here as detailed at length in the proclamation at the direction of the Venezuelan government. The statute says that a president has the ability to repel an invasion or predatory incursion that is directed by a foreign
state
government.
or a government, right? Are they a state or a government?
This would be, yes, it is documented that TDA was sent by the Venezuelan government in the proclamation. And here's an even more important point. Under the Constitution, who makes that determination? A district court judge elected by no one, or the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy? The president and the president alone makes a decision of what triggers that determination.
So do you then think we are actually at war with Venezuela, the nation-state of Venezuela?
You're not hearing me and you're not understanding me. Read the statute, Alien Enemies Act, 1798. It says if a predatory incursion is perpetrated by a foreign government, so it lists three qualifying actions. It could be an act of war.
It does say in the very beginning there has to be a declared war against a nation or a state. That's what it says.
No, wrong. Look up the statute. It's on my account on social media.
That's actually where we found it earlier.
Yes. It says, or a predatory incursion, or an invasion. The statute delineates three criteria for triggering the Alien Enemies Act. One is an act of war, which, by the way, an invasion is an act of war, but put that aside. One is an invasion, which this is. One is a predatory incursion, which this is. So it actually meets all three statutory criteria. But with respect to this particular statute, the proclamation is utilizing the incursion and invasion language in the statute.
So,
but this is a very important question, because no, hold on. It's a very important question. You said the way our system works is the President of the United States commands the armed forces of the country, commands the foreign policy of the country, and that's subject to district court review. That is fundamentally untrue.
I never said that, Stephen. I did not say...
That has never been true.
This was not a military operation.
A district court judge can no more enjoin the expulsion of foreign terrorists to foreign soil that he can direct the movement of Air Force One, that he can direct the movement of an aircraft carrier, that he can direct Marco Rubio to engage in diplomacy in a country or not.
Do you think the Supreme Court has any say over this or not? Does the Supreme Court of the United States have any say over the things that you were just outlining right here?
I believe what the Supreme Court will say is what I just said, which is that the president's conduct here is not subject to judicial review.
Okay, but you are acknowledging that they do, in fact, have a say here, even though you think they may agree with you.
What we are expecting is the Supreme Court to say what has always been the case, which is when the president is using his powers as commander-in-chief, those determinations are not subject to judicial review. In other words, the president's designation of Tren de Aragua as a foreign terrorist organization and as an alien enemy are part of his inherent plenary authority. There is no way.
At what point in the system, Stephen,
how are you going to expel? Hold on. How are you going to expel illegal alien invaders from our country who are raping little girls, who are murdering little girls, if each and every deportation has to be adjudicated in a district court judge? That means you have no country, it means you have no sovereignty, it means you have no future. It is fundamentally incompatible to have a country and have individual expulsions adjudicated by a single district court judge.
I'm just trying to figure out at what point in the system do you, because what does the Trump administration believe? Because we do have separation of powers in this country. I hear what you're saying.
Yes,
you're saying
separation
the district
of powers.
Court does not
this is the judiciary
have
interfering
Stephen,
in
let me finish.
the executive function. That is the separation of powers. That is the separation of powers.
Did you ignore the judge's order here because you thought you could?
So the judge's order and the actions taken by the Departments of Defense, Justice, and Homeland Security are not in conflict. And the Department of Justice has been clear that they are not in conflict. But
so you think that you did go along with the order that the judge put out? You do not think that the Trump administration defied this order?
As the Justice Department said, there is no conflict between the judge's order and the actions taken by the departments I just listed. But I'm making a deeper and more fundamental point.
Yeah.
The district court
if you don't have to follow it, why didn't you?
The district court has no ability to in any way restrain the president's authorities under the Alien Enemies Act or his ability to conduct the foreign affairs of the United States. Let me paint a picture for you. President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio had engaged in intensive diplomacy to obtain a bilateral security agreement with the nation of El Salvador. If a district court judge can join that bilateral security agreement, then we do not have a democracy.
Stephen, you've made your argument.
We do not have a foreign policy.
We've heard you say this. Did you ignore, did the administration ignore the order from the district judge? It's a simple question.
I've answered it. I've answered it because the Department of Justice has made a filing in the court. But let me make another point. The judge, in this case, put the lives of every single person on those aircraft at risk. Did he know how much fuel was in those planes? Did he know the flight conditions? Did he know the weather conditions? Did he know how many crew hours? Did he know the need for crew rest? Did he know any of that? No. This judge violated the law. He violated the Constitution.
So do you
defied
think that
the system of government that we have in this country.
Because that does seem to be what you're arguing.
These same district court judges didn't do a damn thing to stop Joe Biden from flooding this nation with millions of illegal aliens. Do these district court judges didn't issue any injunctions to save the lives of Jocelyn Nungary or Laken Riley or anyone else?
Federal courts. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that what you said, there's a separation of powers.
This kind of reminds me of, I used to, obviously you guys know, I don't just call myself professor for kicks and giggles. I used to teach, multiple universities in the past. When you have a student who, and I always encourage questions, I think one of my mantras in my classes has always been, don't listen to a word I say. Don't even believe a word I say. Do your own research, verify it in the real world, and then come back to me. And so I always welcome debate. I always welcome people to question me, question my teachings, et cetera, et cetera. But, when you have somebody who it's so abundantly clear they don't know what they're talking about, and there's zero level of humility, and there's actually the opposite. There's smugness and condescension and misplaced narcissism. It's like talking to a wall. I mean, Stephen Miller is an attorney. Stephen Miller is very intelligent. He knows the Constitution. He knows the statutes in and out. And everything he's saying is absolutely 100% true. And here's the real crux of it. Can you imagine with these district judges who are Obama appointed? Could you imagine if it was Kamala Harris who won and wanted to do the same exact thing to protect us Americans, deport these criminal illegal gangs? Do you think this Judge Boasberg, this Obama appointed judge, would put up a fight, would put up a fuss, would do what he just did? I highly doubt it. And the best point that Stephen Miller, I think, made was, where were these judges when we had literally a deluge, a flood of criminal illegals into our country that were sponsored by Biden and Kamala, the border czar back then, if you could call her that, who have done injurious mortal harm to American citizens, including, he mentioned, as she talked over him, Laken Riley, Jocelyn Nungary, and thousands more. Those families will never think about this. You have to really be empathetic here. You have to really put yourself in their shoes here. Laken Riley's parents, Jocelyn Nungary's parents, they will never enjoy Christmas ever again. I'm a father. If something like that happened to my little baby Nora, not only would I go on probably a murderous rampage, I'd probably murder everybody in my sight, but I would literally snap and lose my mind and probably, I can't even imagine the depth of pain that a parent losing a child before their time is gone must be. And in the fashion and in the way that it happened to their daughters. The strength, the perseverance, the patience, the intelligence, I don't have it. They do. I give them all the credit. I don't have that. I would go absolutely crazy. They're never going to enjoy Christmas again. They're never going to enjoy holidays ever again. No day will ever have as much light as it used to ever again. Where were these judges? Where were these so-called righteous, following the Constitution, following the laws. Where were these people to protect American citizens? I ask you. I want to share this with you. Let me know in the comments what you think. Before you go, I've got a great clip of Representative Tim Burchett schooling another CNN smug, academic, look down their nose, mook, fake news pundit on CNN when he talks about the same exact concept. Check this out.
But so no matter what a judge
and he's
says,
taking the side, and he's taking the side of a bunch of criminals.
He hasn't taken any. He hasn't taken any side yet, Congressman. He hasn't taken any side yet. All he's done is put a stay on the White House action here so that he can review their use of their novel use, frankly, of the Alien Enemies
Oh, come
Act.
on. These guys, listen, these guys, the difference between God and these judges is God knows he's not one of these judges. They're arrogant. They practice this type of thing all the time. And if you had a conservative one doing it, you all would be raising total hell. But because it's a left-winger and it's CNN, and you all take that side.
This isn't a question about the media. This isn't a question about the media. No one's taking a side here. Congressman,
yes,
no
you
one's
are.
taking a side here.
He is not.
I'm asking you about the Constitution. Is asking about the Constitution. Is asking about the Constitution. Taking a side. All I'm asking you is about the Constitution, what you think of it, and what you would advise this White House and your feeling about judicial rulings. And that seems to be upsetting you. I'm just trying to get your position on this and what you would advise the White House going forward.
It's not upsetting. I guess what upsets me is that you all at CNN continuously take the side of the far left, and that's why your ratings continue to plummet. And I do not ever understand why y'all do that. Every time. I know you got to take the opposite side on everything, but you all are wrong on this one. Listen, this is a gang that took over an apartment complex in Colorado. They
There's not been a side taken.
They are criminals.
We're trying to understand. Now, you can argue. You can argue. You can, Congressman,
what is wrong with you all? You are so out of touch with what's 85% of this country does not support what you are spewing out right now.
We haven't spewed. The only one spewing is the guy who's talking uninterrupted right now.
How long does it take him to review this stuff? How long does it take him to review this stuff? These judges, he'll sit on his ass for months so these criminals can stay in this country. This is all this is. This is overreach. And I'll guarantee you, if his kids had been murdered or raped, as has happened in this country to several American citizens by these thugs, that he would be taking a different position. But he's protected. You all protect him. You all have got to come off this.
How many times have I said it in this nation? Can you imagine if they put this much fight? Can you imagine if they put this much energy, this much of their outrage into actually helping Americans, law-abiding, work their asses off, blood, sweat, and tears every single day of the week, tax-paying American citizens? We would be invincible. Why? Why do they work so hard to protect criminals? Why? Let me know in the comments what you think. I can't wait to get your thoughts on this and all these Tesla bombings and Molotov cocktails, like we're some third world democracy. You know, where's their outrage for that too? Their silence is deafening. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here. Tap my face right there to subscribe and follow. It's absolutely free. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless the USA. I'll see you soon.